In this lesson, we will talk about controlling the blinds according to the position of the sun on the sky. Such control makes sense in two cases. On the one hand, if the user wants to have the blinds closed only for shading from the sun and not for privacy. The second meaning is that the blinds will shade the direct sunlight, but the angle is set so that the client can see through the window or that there is as much light as possible in the room. In this case, the blinds are not completely closed, but only to reflect the sun's rays. We will start the configuration of the blinds by adding a smart rule to the blind, which is called blinds adjustment according to sun. In the upper part, we specify all the blinds that we want to control in this way. We only need one smart rule for all blinds, even if those blinds have different orientations to the cardinal points and different parameters. The system can operate various blinds by itself. In Smart Rule, we see several different limiters that prevent the blinds from moving too often. With Smart Rule, we can limit, for example, the time, frequency of angle adjustments, or the position of blinds. We can add a brightness sensor, so if it rains there is no need to shade. Within this setting, we can set the sensitivity to brightness changes and how quickly the system should react. For example, when it is a sunny day and clouds pass across the sky, then the brightness can decrease for a short time. Therefore, it is good to set this sensitivity. An important setting for the brightness sensor is what happens if the brightness drops for a longer time than the threshold sensitivity. If we set allow interruption and the brightness drops below the set value, this smart rule will be deactivated and control will be taken over by the smart rule, which is below it in priorities. Let's allow interruption. In this case, this smart rule will be deactivated and control will be taken by next smart rule with lower priority, daily schedule. On the contrary, if we do not allow interruption, even if the brightness changes, this smart rule still remains active. In this case, the system will wait for the brightness to return to normal and not make any adjustments. In the next setting, we can set whether the blinds should change up and down, or whether the angle should change. If we set the position change, we can see several new modes. First mode is connected to the heating and cooling. Here we can assign a reference thermostat from which the desired and actual temperature will be taken. Basically, according to these values, shading will be adjusted. In this section we can reconfigure the settings that can eliminate the excessive activity of the blinds. In the temperature offset, we can set that there must be a sufficiently large temperature difference between the desired and actual temperature for the blinds to start adapting. In the hysteresis range, we set how often the blinds will be adjusted. After changing the position of the blinds, we also have a second mode available, which is called depth of sun ray. With this setting, we can ensure that we will have, let's say, a meter of sunlight throughout the day in the room. In such a case, the system must know not only the azimuth and blind parameters, but also window parameters. We can find this in the service settings of each blind. And it is necessary to enter not only the height of the window, but also the distance of the window from the floor. When we fill in these parameters, the system can adjust the position of the blinds to allow 1 meter of sun rays. Another way to eliminate excessive movement of the blinds is to set allow interruption of the activity of this smart rule and set a daily schedule that will only set the angle. This means it will not change the height of the blinds as set by the smart rule control according to the sun, but only the angle will change. This means that when the sun overshadows a cloud, the smart rule is deactivated and control is taken over by the smart rule below it, which will only change the angle of the blinds, but will not move them up or down. That's the shading configuration. See you in next lesson.